Should I use could? No, I think I should use would here. Or maybe could. Oh god, this is so confusing. Hello everyone and welcome to Apt English 360. Yes, a lot of people get confused while using could or would in their sentences. They're not sure when, how, and where to place these words in the sentences. So that is why we created this video to clear that confusion out for good. But before we begin, I just wanted to let you know that I will keep posting links to free resources for you all to use and practice your English. So yes, you can download these files for free by clicking on the links posted in the description box below. All right, so let's begin. Now there are three major ways to use could and would. So first one is for past tense. Second one is when talking about possible situations and imaginary situation. And the third one is when we use it for polite expressions. Let us understand the first one. And that is when we use it as a past tense. Could is a past tense of can, and can talks about the ability to be or to do. So as a past tense, could refers to the ability in the past. For example, I can exercise at a gym daily for 3 hours. I could exercise at a gym daily for 3 hours when I was younger. So I'm saying this to someone that I was capable, I was able to exercise in a gym for 3 hours when I was younger. So that means that I'm not able to do so anymore. So I could exercise at a gym daily for 3 hours when I was younger. Now let's look at would when used as a past tense. So would is the past tense of will, and would refers to a future situation, but from the past point of view. All right. So for example, I will pass my driving test today. So I have a driving test and I'm saying this thing probably to myself or to someone else that I will pass my driving test today. I'm confident that I will pass my driving test today. And then when I say that I knew I would pass my driving test today. So here, will becomes would, and I'm showing this confidence of passing the test, but in the form of past tense. So I'm saying that I knew I would pass my driving test today. Okay, now let's look at the second way of using could and would, and that's when we use it for talking about a possible situation or an imaginary situation. So let's talk about possible situation first. So we use could when we talk about a possible situation, okay? We use could. So whenever there's a possibility of something to happen, that's when we use could. So for example, Joe Biden could win this election. Okay, Joe Biden could win this election. Well, it's too late to use this example, but I'm still using it. So what we are trying to say here is that there is a possibility for Joe Biden to win the election. That's why we are using could. Okay, he could win this election. Another example is you could cause an accident driving like that. Okay, you could cause an accident driving like that. So this means that if you continue driving in an unsafe manner, then there is a possibility of you causing an accident. Now, don't get confused that could in these sentences has not been used as a past tense, okay? When we use could as a past tense, there was a time factor involved, right? Because we were talking about something in the past. Whereas in this situation, when we talk about possible situations, then there's no time factor involved. So we are using could in the form of present tense, but we are still using could because we are mainly talking about possible situations. So that's the reason we are using could. So there's no time factor involved in this situation. So you cannot use would when you talk about possible situations, all right? So then, if that's the case, then how else do you use would? Well, we use would when we talk about imaginary situations, okay? We use would when we talk about imaginary situations. So basically, a situation that is not real, an imagination that only exists in our minds but does not exist in reality, okay? So let's look at some examples. I would travel around the world if I won the lottery. So I'm creating this imaginary situation in my mind that I would go and travel the world if I won that lottery. So did I win the lottery already? No. So can I go and travel the world? Sadly not. So I'm simply imagining and saying that I would travel the world if I won the lottery. Now, don't get confused here. We did not use would as a past tense. It is being used as a present tense, but we are using would in this sentence because we are talking about an imaginary situation, okay? So let's look at one more example. I would love to go out on a date with him. Okay? I would love to go out on a date with him. And the third way to use could and would is to use it for polite expressions. When do we use polite expressions? We use it when we are requesting for something, or when we are offering something, or we are asking for permission, and we also use it when we are giving suggestions. All right, so let's talk about requests first. So when requesting, you can use would and could both, okay? How? Let's look at some examples. So, could you pass me that bottle, please? So, I'm requesting someone to pass me or give that bottle to me. Could you pass me that bottle, please? Now, you can also use would here. So, you can even say, would you pass me that bottle, please? Okay? Would you pass me that bottle, please? There's also a phrase you can use when using would while making a request, and that phrase is, would you mind? Okay, would you mind? So, for example, would you mind passing me that bottle, please? All right. So now this is a fixed phrase. So you cannot use could you mind. There's no such thing as could you mind. Okay. So would you mind is one fixed phrase in itself. It's like a short sentence basically. So use it as it is instead of using could you mind. All right, now let's look at the next way of polite expression, and that is when we are offering something. So when you're making a polite expression of offering, then always use would. So for example, welcome. Would you like something to drink? We are going to the beach. Would you like to join us? Okay, so we are offering someone that, hey, we are going to the beach. So would you like to join us? So you cannot use could when offering something. So when you say that, could you like to join us? No, that doesn't sound right. So you cannot use could when offering something. Just always use would. All right, now what do we use when we are asking for permission? Well, we can use both could and would. Let's find out how. So this is how we use could when asking for permission. Could I borrow your pen for a minute? Another example is, let's say an employee is asking for his boss's permission, saying that, John, could I leave early today? Now, can we use would here, like, would I borrow your pen or would I leave early? No, this is incorrect. So then how to use would when asking for permission? Once again, there are two fixed phrases for using would when asking for permission. One is, would it be okay? And the other one is, would you mind? All right, so would it be okay and would you mind? So you cannot use would alone by itself, but you can use it in a fixed phrase like this. Let's look at some examples. Would it be okay if I borrowed your pen for a minute? John, would you mind if I left early today? Now notice a small change here. So while using would it be okay if or would you mind if, I use the past tense of the word borrow, that is borrowed, and I used left instead of leave. Okay, so this is another grammar rule you would have to keep in mind when using a conditional sentence. So we can talk more about this rule in another video in the future. And the last type of polite expression, and that is suggestions. So you use could every time you're giving a suggestion. Let's look at some examples. I could help you with English if you like. We could take our kids to the new park that opened up in the neighborhood. We could take a bus instead of walking to the mall. So use could when giving suggestions, all right? Well, I hope you found this video helpful enough to clear up some of that confusion. I know this is a bit too much information, so what we have done is that we have tried to put this information in a table form just to make things a bit easier for you to understand. So what you can do is you can go down in the description box below. There's a link and we have attached a file so you can access this file. You can use it for further practice, okay? So let's take a quick quiz here. You can pause the video to go through all the questions and answer them. And once you finish, hit the play button again as we will look at the answers together. All right, now let's look at the answers. So the first one is, could I use your desk? Okay, so I'm asking for someone's permission that could I use your desk? The second one is, I would love to visit New York. I would love to visit New York. I'm having this imagination and I'm saying that I would love to visit New York. The next one is, when I broke my leg, I thought I would never dance again. So would is being used as a past tense here. The next one is, I could help you with your assignment. So I'm offering my help to someone and saying that I could help you with your assignment. And the next one is, Mom, would it be okay if I went out to play with my friends? So a child is asking for his or her mom's permission and saying that, Mom, would it be okay if I went out to play with my friends? And the last one is, I could drive you home if you like. So once again, I'm offering someone my help and saying that I could drive you home if you like. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Take care.